Well, actually, Gregor saw Vicus frown and pulled up short. He'd been about to go into his spiel about how he wasn't the warrior. But then what? Vicus had whispered something about others believing he was the one. There was a war beginning. The bats weren't likely to send off valuable flyers on a wild goose chase. If he denied he was the warrior now, the quest would be called off, and his father would be as good as dead. That sealed it. Gregor stood up straight and tried to control the quaver that slipped into his voice. I am the warrior. I am he who calls. The bat was still for a moment, then nodded. It is he. She spoke with such certainty that for a second Gregor succeeded in thinking of himself as a warrior. A bold, brave, powerful warrior that the Underlanders would tell stories about for centuries. He could almost see himself leading a squadron of bats into battle, stunning the rats, saving the Underland from Gego, I pee, announced Boots. And there he stood, a boy in a goofy hard hat, with a beat-up flashlight, and a bunch of batteries he hadn't even tested to see if they still had juice. The mighty warrior excused himself and changed a diaper.
It really do be like that sometimes.
You know, the UK version of this book is called Gregor and the Rats of the Underland.
That's cooler.
Yeah,
the UK always has to keep in mind the people they want to exterminate.
Well, right, UK has some interesting connections to this book. Let's get into it. What do we know, what could be? How are the union and the socialist be? Everything I can need, oh I need, oh I need, oh I need, oh what could be? Oh what could be? Oh what could be? Oh what could be? Oh,
welcome back to Workers Lit, your favorite podcast about doing something to the narrative. What did we do to the narrative?
We're fighting for the narrative.
We fight for the narrative, right? Okay, I forgot.
We don't really fight for it. We're just like talking about the fight for it, the battle for it. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're talking about rats and kids.
Yeah, rats. I just there's so many rats, so many bats that I'm overcome by bats.
There's poop everywhere.
Yeah.
This is a book where people shit.
Yeah, this is a shitting book. This is a book where you get shotgun married to a bat in the last chapter. Spoiler alert, I guess. Yeah, we're reading Gregor the Overlander by popular demand. And I'm really interested to know why, person who requested this, why did you request us read this book? Not in a bad way, not like me after we did LA Confidential and I was like, okay, when this guy gets on, I'm gonna kick his fucking ass. I'm just curious.
This episode was recommended by Trill Turban. So shout out to Trill for this episode recommendation. I was a little like interesting. We did 3 books of Suzanne Collins. So but like, you know, it is very different than Hunger Games.
She was a different person in 2008 than she was in 2003. We all were.
It's also interesting that this was chosen, especially since we did The Magician's Nephew last week, and the person who chose this wouldn't have known that. So it's like 2 kids' books in a row that we can kind of compare and contrast. Yeah. This is a lot better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote a children's book. Who hasn't? I mean, kids can barely read as it is, so how hard can it be to write for them?
I think we can agree on that. You know, I think this book is a lot of fun. At first I was like, okay, I'm reading another kid's book. This isn't for me. I was being such a cool adult, I know. And then I was like, wait a second, okay, I can feel a little whimsy. This is as it picked up, I was reading it. I'm gonna admit, I finished it today.
Was it the cunty rat?
The cunty rat really sold me. I'm not gonna lie, he showed up in the book, got really good.
Yeah,
that was definitely her dry run for like your
Haymitch.
Yeah, your Haymitch type. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listened to the audiobook because I've been cleaning and moving all week, so I didn't have time to read. And the guy who did the audiobook, he gave the rat this like gay Disney villain voice, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, he went what was it, like Tony J with it?
Yeah, he went like Jafar type like
Bad
voice. It was really good.
The bad guy from The Great Mouse Detective or some shit.
Vincent Price played Ratigan.
I mean, in the Lewis comparison, this is like Dark-Sided Reepicheep, right? We haven't met Reepicheep in either of the books we've covered, but he's that like
you're
little
right.
mouse with a sword.
He is Dark-Sided Reepicheep. He's like Reepicheep's hot brother.
Yes, yes, his hot gay brother. It's the Blackguard twins situation, a sort of Regis and Edwin.
Yeah, which one is the gay one?
I mean both of them, but
yeah.
I think they switch orientations.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I mean, we'll get into it, but the rat knows Shakespeare, and at first I'm like, that's a weird thing to pull from. And then it's like, no, he's been fucking reading Shakespeare. But we'll get into it. Let's talk about what this book is first. We've already done our bio of Suzanne Collins at our first Hunger Games episode. It will be linked below. However, I will read from the end of the book a little bit of the about the author and about the book. And I should note that this book, Gregor the Overlander, came out in 2003. It was Suzanne Collins' first novel, though it was not the first thing she'd written, as I'll mention in a moment. And it was not nearly as successful as Hunger Games, but quite successful in its own right. It spawned 4 sequels. Has been translated into multiple languages, won a number of children's awards, and generally was well reviewed. Got a starred review in Publishers Weekly, which is not the easiest thing to get. So that's
Publishers Weekly hates my work.
Yeah. Publishers Weekly gave me a general favorable review for They Called Her Rebel, but said he's not nearly as funny as he thinks he is, which admittedly made me laugh out loud in an airport.
Oh
like,
my God.
I read that in an airport and I cracked the fuck up. Like, I couldn't even get mad at that.
That's like something your principal says to you. It's like a review you get in your 3rd grade class.
Yeah, it's probably true. Well, let me read from the about the author at the end. And just in general, quote, thinking one day about Alice in Wonderland, Suzanne Collins was struck by how pastoral the setting must seem to kids who, like her own kids, lived in urban surroundings. In New York City, you're much more likely to fall down a manhole into the sewer than a rabbit hole. And if you do, you're not going to find a tea party. What might you find? The answer to this question can be found in Collins' first novel, Gregor the Overlander. Like Alice, Gregor takes a very long fall beneath his world and finds another strange place. Gregor the Overlander is the first in a 5-part series entitled The Underland Chronicles. In each book, Gregor must find the courage and mortal fortitude to deal with a different aspect of the concept of war. Although Gregor the Overlander is Suzanne Collins' first novel, she is not a stranger to writing for kids. Since 1991, she has had a successful and prolific career writing for children's television, working on the staffs of several Nickelodeon shows, including Clarissa Explains It All, The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, Maurice Sendak's Little Bear, Oswald the Octopus, and Clifford's Puppy Days. At the time of writing, Suzanne Collins lived in Connecticut with her family, but she had been living in New York for like 15 years when she came up with the concept for the novel.
It's like fucking Suzanne out there being like, I'm going to teach kids about war.
I cut my teeth on Clifford. It's time to get into genocide.
and then when she wrote Hunger Games, she's like, now I'm going to I taught 10-year-olds about war. Now I'm going to teach like 15-year-olds about war.
Yeah.
Presumably she's cooking a book to teach like 25-year-olds about war.
Well, and like the first Hunger Games book comes out like the year after the last Gregor book. So like, you know, you're ready to go once you wrap that up if you've been following like along with the release order.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that this book is actually, as middle grade novels go, I think it was... I think it's both very standard and quite unique in some aspects. Like the Boots angle was very unique.
Mm-hmm. Boots Riley being in it was really weird.
Yeah, Boots Riley in it. I was surprised. Like
once you get to Regalia and there's that like leaning skyscraper in the middle of it, you start to put together the vibe.
Really good.
God damn.
Well. Were either of y'all familiar with this book? I'm going to be real. I'd never even heard of it. I didn't realize she'd written anything but the Hunger Games books, aside from like we mentioned it on the Hunger Games episode.
Yeah, that's literally all I knew. That when I did her bio, I found that she'd written a middle grade series before.
Yes.
And middle grade means for kids like 8 to 12. That's what I mean when I say middle grade.
Aisha was explaining this to me earlier because this is a distinction that I struggle with.
Yeah, it's like I worked at a bookstore and I was the YA middle grade seller, so I had it beaten into my head.
Right, I get those two things mixed up.
Yeah.
What are some famous middle grade books for like context for people?
I would say, like, I don't know, The Keys to the Kingdom by Garth Nix.
His Dark Materials, I think, is one. A Series of Unfortunate Events is
Okay,
one.
yeah.
All the Roald Dahl books, I think.
Would we call Redwall middle grade?
Yes, Redwall.
Okay.
Also, the fucking Greek boy who's not Harry Potter.
Oh, Percy Jackson, yeah.
Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Harry Potter is middle. I think Harry Potter is considered middle grade, at least maybe until book 4.
That
Then
makes
it
sense.
kind of becomes YA as it gets darker. But
Specifically the Flesh, Blood, and Bone chapter.
Yeah.
Check out our Percy Jackson episode and our 3 Harry Potter episodes if you want to hear more talk about middle grade fiction. Then I'd say Narnia falls in there. I don't know what he was like intending precisely because I don't understand the man.
Narnia is definitely middle
by that
grade.
age.
Narnia is definitely middle grade. Yeah.
Oh, also John Bellairs, House with the Clock in Its Walls, Face in the Frost. Are you all familiar with John Bellairs?
No.
Oh, House of the Clock in Its Walls is one of my favorite. It's one of those books that just like assumes that like, okay, at 10 you've stumbled into like your folks like encyclopedia or like history books and you're just a fucking nerd and you've hyperfixated on a special interest.
I think you're thinking of Clockwork Orange, another famous middle grade.
Typically, I think the biggest distinctions with middle grade, between middle grade and YA, besides like how complex the themes are, you can usually tell if there is a romance element, it's almost always YA.
Sure.
If anyone says any swear words, it's usually not middle grade.
Makes sense. There is a romance in Gregor the Overlander series, but it doesn't kick in until book 4, and it's basically him just like looking at the queen girl and being like, "I like you," with like several E's. He's yearning. Gregor is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is what I like about the book on the subject of Luxa, because like she's supposed to look weird textually, right?
Yeah.
Gregor looks at her and she's like, okay, like her skin's translucent, he can see her veins, right? And like if they adapt these like they adapted the Hunger Games, right? They would just make her like a hot Morlock or something.
Yeah, but she'd be a hot girl she'd be like an anime girl.
Yeah.
Like but yeah, everybody's supposed to look weird. Yeah, I liked the beginning of the book. I think that this is another thing that Suzanne Collins does. She's good at portraying actual poverty. In that like the way that so the book opens with Gregor, which is a funny name for an 11-year-old.
Some people are squirrel-handed. Gregor is a weird name.
Gregor is like, in New York City. His mom is at work. His little sister, his Lily or whatever her name was, he's like 7-year-old sister goes
Lizzie,
to camp.
yeah.
Lizzie. But he can't go to camp because he has to stay at home and take care of his 2-year-old sister, Boots, and their grandma. Because his dad vanished a couple years ago. And he talks about how hot it is. He talks about how they all have to kind of sleep. They live in 2 rooms together. He sleeps on the floor when it gets too hot. And he talks about how irritating everything is. And just like the way that poverty is portrayed as just like being very inconvenient and just having to take all of this time just to get stuff done because you can't afford to do it the easy way. That struck me as very like realistic.
And it's not this kid reflecting on, wow, we're so poor. My clothing is falling apart. What a poor man I am. Like, no, you live in that world. You live in that reality.
Yeah.
As a kid who, as a kid for most of my childhood, I was, kind of lower middle class, but having a period in my childhood where we got broke for a minute, I wasn't like as a kid sitting there thinking, wow, I'm a poor kid. I'm so poor and I'm going to heap ashes on my face and say, please, sir, I have some more in like an Oliver Twist fashion. But rather I'm like, wow, it kind of sucks that I'm in a room with no air conditioning with my 4 siblings every night. Like that's not fun. And then I piece together later that's for like socioeconomic reasons when I'm an adult, right? And that's kind of how the book starts. The book opens with the paragraph, Gregor had pressed his forehead against the screen for so long he could feel a pattern of tiny checks above his eyebrows. He ran his fingers over the bumps and resisted the impulse to let out a primal caveman scream. It was building up in his chest, that long guttural howl reserved for real emergencies, like when you ran into a saber-toothed tiger without your club or your fire went out during the Ice Age. He even went so far as to open his mouth and take a deep breath before he banged his head back into the screen with a quiet sound of frustration. Ugh. What was the point anyway? It wouldn't change one thing, not the heat, not the boredom, not the endless space of summer laid out before him. He considered waking up Boots, his 2-year-old sister, just for a little distraction, but he let her sleep. At least she was cool in the air-conditioned bedroom she shared with their 7-year-old sister Lizzie and their grandma. It was the only air-conditioned room in the apartment. On really hot nights, Gregor and his mother could spread quilts on the floor to sleep, but with 5 in the room, it wasn't cool, just lukewarm. And then he goes and gets an ice cube and puts it on his face. And that's so real. I will say, Gregor, you're a little bitch. I lived in Tennessee like this. You're living in New York City. That's not the same thing at all. But it's still pretty warm in summers in New York City. I get it. But no, I flashbacks to living in Tennessee, and we didn't have working air conditioning. It was me and my 4 siblings in the same room. And like, we literally were like getting ice cubes from the freezer and like putting them in our mouths, like as we fell asleep. That was the strat, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, immediate connection with little Gregor on this one. He wants to put out a roar, and he's a nice kid. I don't feel like he really comes into his own for a little while in this book. He is fairly generic at first. I mean, that is kind of the case with children's protagonists a lot of the time, but he is an 11-year-old kid who has had to take on more responsibility than he'd like. He's bummed he's not going to summer camp, but won't say it. He feels protective of his sister. And one particular thing is his father disappeared almost 3 years ago. And he has that bothers him, and he doesn't like to think of the future one way or another because he doesn't like to imagine it with his father because that's false hope. And he doesn't like to imagine it without his father because he doesn't want to think of a future without his father. And that is what I found, at least early on, to be his most distinctive and interesting trait.
Mm-hmm. You don't really think about the concept of false hope in the concept of in the context of a children's book. You don't think about what it is to, even if you think you might have a future, not living with like uncertainty, just like totally being able to visualize what your life's going to be like, in the long term, right? Just living day to day. This book really, really gets into that, and it's a surprisingly mature thing to meditate on for the age group.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
agreed.
Mature or not mature, he's about to have to get even older because he's about to fall down a hole in the basement.
Yeah.
Or in the laundry room.
Right, so he's in the laundry room, he's doing the laundry, his little sister is running around because Boots loves to play with balls. So he's like throwing a ball for her like she's a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And she like brings the ball back and he throws it. Boots is very cute. I'm a big Boots fan.
Best character.
Huge Boots head, yeah. Her real name is Margaret, I think, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is a kid that's never known a stranger. Very sweet, very bubbly. Still's got the temper of a 2-year-old. Still talks like a 2-year-old. Pretty smart for a 2-year-old. Good at that pattern recognition and whatnot. I do think it is really strange. I did think it was really strange, though, like for her first lines, where when she said, "We're foot, slog, slogging over Africa, foot, slogging over Africa, boots, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war."
There's
but
no discharge in the war.
Rudyard Kipling references are always interesting in middle grade novels. Aside from that, though, I thought she was a well-realized character.
Yeah.
That part was really interesting. But they both fall down a hole.
Yeah, they fall down the rabbit hole, but it's like a grate in the laundry room, and you're immediately like, okay, this is what happened to his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Obviously. The thing that I thought about immediately, I didn't actually think about Alice in Wonderland immediately. The inclusion of Boots made me think about Labyrinth instead. Because of Toby, the baby.
I did not like that movie.
They fall 2 miles into the Underland. It is a subterranean world, like the Underdark or something from D&D or well, it's like the Underdark. It's not like Alice in Wonderland. It's not. It's very mystical. There's a lot of cool stuff, but it is dark.
Yeah, it is way
grimy.
more like the Underdark than it is like Wonderland.
And it will kill you. Yes.
Yeah.
And they immediately run into some cockroaches that are like 4 feet long a piece.
And Boots
Big-ass
tells us,
cockroaches.
big bug.
And she's right for that.
My heart.
She's right, and she should say it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that Boots is not scared of the giant bugs at all. She's like, big bug.
Oh yeah.
Kids are not scared of giant cockroaches.
Mm-hmm.
They later say you only have fear if you have the ability to count, which is a funny thing that gets repeated a couple times. And she like looks mad and goes 1, 2, 7, like very seriously at them.
Yeah, so these bugs, and everybody talks funny. The roaches talk the funniest, but everybody talks kind of like Yoda.
Mm-hmm. It's you know what it is, like, because it does jive with what we find out about the Underlanders later. They're basically like this offshoot. They're British people, right? And they've gone under here and they've like evolved
offshoot of Puritans or something
like that, right? And it's from like in the early 1600s or so is when they sort of split off and went down here. So they still have this sort of like early modern English construction, like verb, subject, object.
Mm-hmm.
that still hasn't quite cleaved from German.
Yeah. So the cockroaches love Boots. They like her immediately is like, be she princess? They worship her.
And they're like, that smells good, because they're cockroaches, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just working.
They love her, and she gets to ride on a cockroach, which sounds kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie. And and Gregor runs. He also he runs track, which is a thing about Gregor that kind of never really. We get reminded of it a lot, but it doesn't ever really come up besides him running next to the cockroaches in the beginning.
There's bits and pieces where he sort of falls into the pattern, like, okay, yeah, I can maintain this pace for like half an hour or so, like jogging.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, saxophone player, he's got like lung capacity.
Yeah, he's got breath control. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just kind of the explanation for like why this 11-year-old is able to like keep going.
Mm-hmm. So the cockroaches bring Boots and Gregor to this city where he meets kind of mean girl who is playing like who is like on a flying bat. He meets a girl who does a flip off a flying bat, and because Gregor is 11, he's not like, oh, that's hot. He's like, I'm annoyed by that.
Yeah, because he can't do it, honestly, is like what I'm reading from it is like he wants to be able to be the guy who can do a flip off a bat.
Right. Gregor is still in the girls are annoying era of being a preteen.
Which fair play, Princess Luxa is annoying.
She is annoying. I kind of fuck with Princess Luxa, though.
She's cool. It describes her as hands down the strangest looking person Gregor had ever seen. Quote, her skin was so pale he could see every vein in her body. He thought of the section on the human anatomy in his science book. Flip one page, see the bones. Next, the digestive system. This girl was a walking circulatory system. At first, he thought her hair was
white.
Yes. And then it turns out she has silver hair, like blonde with a metallic tint, and she's got purple eyes. And he says she looked down on him despite he was 6 inches taller than her. And it says his mom would say about girls like this, she's got a real attitude. So that's what we're dealing with here. She's got a real attitude. But admittedly, if you are like 14 and you can like do backflips off of fucking bats and like catch a ball in midair and land epically, like you've earned a little bit of that attitude, I think.
She's also literally the queen.
Like, or the princess, right? Or like the heir.
Right, they call her they never say princess, they say queen. I think it's because her parents are dead. So the real queen is dead, but she's not allowed. She has a regent, I think. That's what that vicus is or whatever.
Yeah,
so
granddad.
She's like, oh, Overlanders, this is welcome to our Underland place.
I've never seen people of color before.
Yeah, she's like, wow, brown skin, wild. I mean, I assume that Gregor and Boots are supposed to be brown because I'm like, are they brown or are the Underlanders just so white that white people look brown to them? But
it's more explicitly like Katniss and her folks are right POC coded in like Hunger Games. It's more explicitly spelled out here.
yeah,
I think. I mean, I guess that you could look at it either way. All of us are probably kind of brown, white as I am compared to someone who's literally translucent. But I read it as
Yeah.
as a dark skinned family.
Yeah.
I don't know.
it does. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter. But
No.
just wanted to see if it's woke.
Yeah, well, I wanted to see whether we cancel it or not. I mean, I
Yeah.
do like. I would have liked a little more description of our main characters. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, I mean, Boots is a 2-year-old, so she just
Sure.
probably looks like a 2-year-old.
no, I mean, Boots is a 2-year-old. The part where she like helped co-write "Groove Is in the Heart" and like "Weapon of Choice" and the Joker was really strange, but
Well, anyway,
it's a good joke. It's gonna keep getting funnier. I've got several of them.
yeah, basically Gregor is like, let's leave. My mom's gonna be so worried. He starts like counting the amount of time that it's like, he's like, okay, so it took me like 5 minutes to fall and like 15 minutes to run here. So if I get up there in 20 minutes, the dryer will be done. Like, it's very like
Good kid. He's a good kid.
yeah. But they're like, no, you can't because the rats will eat you if you leave. So
He's
you
like,
have to
"No
come to our
way."
palace.
Yeah, I fear you must come to the sickest place of all time.
Yeah.
It hits the ground running in terms of not only getting the central conflict going. Okay, he's in the Underland. How's he going to get out? But like the dynamics at play here between the various races, right? And how they've worked out a sort of uneasy, because there's the Underlanders, of course, they explicitly refer to themselves as human. They are human, they're just weird. But there's also like
They're
roaches.
British, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's what's so weird about 'em.
Somebody found a way to yeah. Neither here nor there. There's also like roaches. There's rats. There's spiders later on.
Bats.
Yes, bats as well.
The
Right?
bats and humans are closely allied.
Yes. This is where she starts introducing like the compromises, the diplomacy, like animating their like relationship here, right? I believe it's we mentioned like the roaches find them first, and it's mentioned offhand that, oh yeah, like they carry torches to show the Underland humans they come in peace. That's kind of interesting. But what you also see is like, okay, so they're neutral, right? They're kind of wheeling and dealing and saying, well, we could hand the kids over, but like the rats would give us a bunch of fish. So what do you got for me?
Where the rats?
Yeah.
And it's this society. These humans, I think they said there's about 5,000 of these humans. And they live mostly in a singular city altogether called Regalia. It is a city that is described as, he thought it was going to be primitive, but it said that the buildings here were a lovely misty gray, which gave them a dream-like quality. They seemed to rise directly out of the rock, as if they had been grown, not made by human hands. Maybe they weren't as tall as the skyscrapers Gregor knew by name, but they towered high above his head. Some at least 30 stories, and thousands of torches were placed strategically so that a soft, dusky light illuminated the city. And it's covered in carvings. It's very beautiful. It's very kind of gothic. There are no doors. You really got to either get a elevator lowered to you, a wooden elevator, or you got to fly up on one of the bats, because as Vicus tells them, doors are for people without enemies, and we got plenty of those.
Oh, Vicus is as we find out, he's Luxa, the queen in waiting's grandfather, but at first he just seems to be an advisor. He's, I imagine, her regent in the meantime. And he brings the kids. He seems very interested in the kids for some reason. And more so than they're just overlanders. And I think this is the time that when does Gregor find his dad's keychain?
That would be that's after he tries to escape.
Oh,
and,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
and the rats find him and he gets brought back, because that's when Vicus is like, hey, do you recognize this? Like,
Right.
he's sort of
Yeah, we meet some of the other players, like we meet Vicus's wife, and we meet Luxa's shitty cousin, Henry.
Apparently Vicus's wife does war crimes in the third book, like severe war crimes, like biological warfare.
Oh my god.
So that's interesting.
That's
Have you
crazy.
heard of this thing called raid?
No, it's apparently she like unleashes some kind of plague, that like bioengineered plague against the rats, and
Oh
like,
my God.
Oh, wow.
and then there's like an infighting. Apparently these books get pretty fucked as they go on, at least for the age demographic. But yeah, they meet a lot of different people, and they find out, why are there humans down here? What's the deal with all of that? Well, it all comes back to Sandwich. It all comes back to Sandwich. And I appreciate that, despite like Sandwich being a real place that someone can be from, Earl of Sandwich and all that, that Gregor like giggles every time they say this, the man of Sandwich.
Yeah,
'Cause I
some
do.
guy named Sandwich came, he just like some fucking hippie came down to live underground, and he has a lot of prophecies that he left. It kind of reminded me of,
Bartholomew of Sandwich, which is even
Yeah.
funnier actually.
it kind of has like Terry Pratchett vibes. It has
Yeah.
like the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter type vibes from like Good Omens. Yeah, I like old Bartholomew of Sandwich.
Yeah, he was told he saw the Underland in a dream, and he set out to find it. Sandwich and a group of followers sailed to New York, where he got on famously with the local tribe. He would be the first British person to do so. I'm saying parenthetically. The Underland was no secret to the Native Americans, who had made periodic trips below the earth for ritual purposes for hundreds of years. They had little interest in living there and didn't care if Sandwich was mad enough to want to. Of course, he was quite sane, said Vicus, citation needed there. He knew that one day the earth would be empty of life except what was sustained beneath the ground. And so, yeah, they spent a very long time moving people under the ground, and then they sealed it off. And now there's only a few gaps between the underworld and the overworld. But the few thousand humans live down here, carrying on Sandwich's legacy.
Probably extremely inbred.
Yes.
That's probably why they
and-
look like that.
Yes. That and the lack of light. And also, following his prophecies when they can, which apparently are all recorded in a single room, etched on every single block on the floors, walls, and ceiling, which is like, are you sure this guy was quite sane? This is how he recorded his prophecies? But, I'm no, I'm no prophetologist. I don't know. Eschatologist.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call that.
Well, Gregor is like, okay, y'all, that's cool, but I need to leave. So he and he takes Boots in the middle of the night, and the two of them, he likes like, okay, let's try to leave. I like these people, they're fine, but I gotta get back to my mom.
Okay, my mom's gonna be so worried. Again, he's a good kid.
And then some random orcs, some bad NPCs. A mini boss attacks them. These two rats.
Yeah, Fangor and Shed. Motherfucker's name is Shed.
Yep, this motherfucker named Shed.
And it says, the cockroaches have been freaky. The bats intimidating. But these rats were purely terrifying. Sitting back on their haunches, they were a good 6 feet tall, and their legs, arms, whatever you called them, bulged with muscle under their gray fur. But the worst part of all was their teeth, 6-inch incisors that protruded out of their whiskered mouths. And they were very much planning to eat him. I think, if I'm correct, the rats sometimes walk on 2 legs and sometimes walk on 4 legs. They seem to sort of switch rather regularly.
They just chilling, yeah.
It's rather it's ambiguous in the way that Narnia is often ambiguous. It's like, is Aslan a furry or is he walking on 4? It's unclear. And here they seem to be switching quite often.
Yeah.
As one would do if they had 4, legs that they could walk on very easily.
Yeah. So he gets rescued by Luxa and Henry and some other people, and when they bring them back, they find out that they're so intent about keeping them safe because Vicus thinks that Gregor is the warrior from some prophecy called the Prophecy of Grey that predicts a war that's going to happen. And Gregor is like, okay, I kind of don't really care about that. So he refuses the call at first.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know why it's called the Prophecy of Grey?
No, I don't think so.
I do. It's because it's an ambiguous prophecy that they don't really know whether it's going to go well or poorly. So they're just like, yeah, it's not white, it's not black, it's just gray.
It's just gray.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Do we want to read the prophecy?
Yeah, here we go. Beware, Underlanders, time hangs by a thread. The hunters are hunted, white water runs red. The gnawers will strike to extinguish the rest. The hope of the hopeless resides in a quest. An overland warrior, a son of the sun, may bring us back light, he may bring us back none. But gather your neighbors and follow his call, or rats will most surely devour us all. 2 over, 2 under of royal descent, 2 flyers, 2 crawlers, 2 spinners ascent. 1 gnawer beside, and 1 lost up ahead, and 8 will be left when we count up the dead. The last who will die must decide where he stands. The fate of the 8 is contained in his hands. So bid him take care, bid him look where he leaps, as life may be death, and death life again reaps.
I wrote in my notes, Rick Riordan ass prophecy. It really is.
Yeah. Then he finds his dad's keychain, right? Yeah.
Everybody know that moment where you find your dad's keychain and you know shit is
So he
gone.
realizes that his dad fell down here, and they're all like, oh yeah, he did. He rolled up for a little while and then he ran off, and now he's been taken prisoner by the rats, by the way. So Gregor is like, okay, well, I have to pretend to be their warrior guy so they'll go with me to rescue my dad. Because his dad is probably the one missing, or the one, like, one of the people in the prophecy is his dad, he thinks.
Yeah, and he doesn't really, like, he may not even think it. He may just be, like, he's kind of like, maybe I'm in the prophecy, maybe not. But, like, if this will get them to help me save my dad, sure. Because, you know, he's excited. He found out that his dad might still be alive. His dad didn't walk out on him trying to get cigarettes. And they're like, oh, now, not only is your dad alive, like, we fuck with him heavy. Like, he's cool. He's just, like, down the road. It's just, unfortunately, there's 10,000 rats between us and him.
Yeah.
Where's the rat?
I also think it's really interesting. Like, this is a thing I think the most interesting aspect of this book is definitely Boots. Like, the fact that there's, like, this young male hero, and he's like a caretaker. Like, he's taking care of his little sister. Like, he's very sweet to her. He doesn't yell at her. Like, because there's so many, like, power fantasy chosen one stories about young boys.
Yeah.
Written for young boys. Like, for instance, Harry Potter, Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
But, like, this little boy has a very strong, like, motivation already, which is to protect his sister. And I think that it's, like, honestly really cool. Like, you don't really ever see, like, male children portrayed as caretakers.
Right. You're absolutely right. Like, his sort of parentification, just like by the circumstances of his folks, because like his dad's disappeared, so now his mom has to work like full time and like probably 2 jobs to support them. So like a lot of the home tasks, like cooking and whatnot, fall to him. He has this like scientific curiosity that his dad has instilled in him, because his dad took him to the museum all the time. So like there's this ambiguity. There's this, like, it's really secondary whether or not he's like in the prophecy. He's just getting by and improvising in much the same way that, like, circumstances have forced him to up above.
I think it's interesting that Gregor has been kind of mommified while Katniss is kind of a dad. Like, she does the hunting. She's become sort of a replacement spouse for her mother. So I think that's interesting as a juxtaposition.
I also like that it's not just that he is taking care of his sister. It's not doing the whole, ooh, dirty diaper thing. Like, I mean, he doesn't like changing diapers like no one does, but it's like he's taking care of her. He's doing the dirty work of it. He's feeding her. When she gets food all over her, he cleans her and is like, annoyed sometimes. But it's not like played for laughs in this way of like, this isn't what he's supposed to be doing. It's not treated as subversive that he's taking care of her, because it's not subversive. I mean, like any of us with younger siblings, like you take care of, you take care of the younger people in your life. That's a thing families do, especially if you don't have the, money for a member of the family, adult member of the family to stay home or to hire a babysitter. As an eldest child, you take care of younger kids. That's what you do. And that's not, some freakish thing, but it's not a thing that's seen in media. And he insists Boots comes with them on the mission. In fact, that ends up being extremely helpful on numerous occasions, because they do need to recruit various species to their quest. They need to recruit, as you heard in there, you got to get some crawlers. You got to get
there's something something with Boots and the Crawlers. Like, that's not gone in. I assume it will become relevant in further books, but she seems to be able to like commune with them. She's like a bug whisperer. She can tell them apart, which nobody else can. Like, she immediately recognizes the one she rode in on, and everyone's like, wow, that's insane.
I'm
like
Temp, and I'm Tick, like a roach.
Yeah.
And they're all big fans of her. Like, they just like when they go and visit the roaches, they're like, okay, we're gonna sleep and talk to them in the morning. They wake up and she's like standing in the middle, and they're like all like worshiping her. They're just like, oh fuck, what did she do? And she's just
and they
she's
call her
just
the
kinda
princess.
vibing.
They love her.
She is a princess. She's a princess not just because she's so sweet, but because she won the silver and gold medal at the U.S. National Golden Gloves Championship in 2014 and 2015, respectively. Jason Boots Ennis, or Jaron Boots Ennis, sorry. Yeah.
God,
Anyway,
A real Renaissance woman.
yeah, she's real impressive. And so then they got to go to the spiders, and that part doesn't work so well. The spiders get shafted in this book. I'm gonna say it. The spiders do not get a fair shake.
Yeah, no. The spiders kind of instantly put them in spider jail.
As a spider does.
Which they reminded me kind of like the spiders in Hollow Knight, who like immediately like capture you. Spiders always be doing that.
Or in The Hobbit, yeah.
Yeah, spiders always be putting you in spider jail is the thing.
I couldn't help but think of The Hobbit because, like, you know, again, The Hobbit is aimed at a similar audience, does a similar thing where like it has a big party with characters that basically get like 2 lines of description, and it has a lot of as a tech prose that's good, but with a lot of utility, a very utilitarian prose. Tolkien is a better writer, but still,
put some respect on Bifur's name.
Yeah, fucking Bomber. Bomber is a well-realized character. But they get caught by spiders.
Bomber actually is one of the ones that has more of a personality because he's fat.
He's fat, and also he gets amnesia at a certain point in the book.
Yeah,
too. He falls into the amnesia water.
Oh yeah,
and it has nothing to do with anything. He just does, and then he's like, "Wait, we're on a quest," and they're like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Fuck." Listen to our Hobbit episode. Oh, but yeah, they escape from the spiders, and then a couple spiders will like follow up.
Luxa does her like, check this shit out, motherfucker. I slide one foot out from under me and fall on my ass kind of move.
But it works. With a little bit of help from Gregor splashing some fucking root beer on somebody.
Oh yeah, he does a root beer maneuver.
That root beer can is fucking bottomless. He does that.
They all drink from it.
Yeah, they all drink from it, and then Boots pours out the rest of it for the bats and for the roaches.
Right, yeah, he loves root beer. That's the thing about Gregor. Another thing that we failed to mention is that the bonded pair thing, like your bat wife.
This wasn't as interesting to me. Like I thought there was some sort of like ritual, like magic component, maybe something biological, a la like Avatar, but you
just marry the bat.
Yeah, it's just something you do, right?
Yeah.
Which, as we'll see, right? I think it somewhat robs it of its weight when this thing is shown to be breakable, and like only the force of law is lending it any gravitas, any consequence.
This is not going to be funny to anyone else, but that one, I'm going to text it to Ryan to do it, but that one Jordan Peterson thing is like, what do you mean believe? What is it, just something you say? And I thought of that when you were talking about what, it's just something you say?
What do you mean by believe? So how would you define believe? Something you say?
So I explain.
I don't know. I thought the bat shotgun wedding was kind of fun.
Oh, we'll get to the bat shotgun wedding.
I feel like the bat will probably be more relevant later because he's got like a bat boyfriend that he left behind now, but we'll get there.
You know, the dichotomy of the human and the bat reveals the brutality of the straining to break free of us in all of us. It's got something to do with rabies that I can't quite articulate.
What do you mean by bat bonding? Just something you say? I don't know.
Leave all this in.
This is our second podcast we've recorded today, by the way, just so you know, back to back.
Not me. I'm fresh, motherfuckers.
Aisha, I was gonna let you steal Valor there, but that's okay. Me and Lenore.
No. I've just been lifting furniture all day, bitch.
Yeah, that's harder. That's a lot harder. So
damn, am I the only person on the podcast who doesn't lift?
I mean, I just lift furniture.
Jen lifts more than any of us.
Yeah.
You know who lifts? The gay ass cunty rat.
That makes all of the rules.
Rip Red, let's go.
Yeah.
It's Rip Red moment. To introduce Rip Red, I'm gonna read. I have a from something Colin said in an interview about Rip Red. I've got right here.
Okay, hit us with it.
Someone asked, if you could invite one of your characters to have dinner with your family, who would it be? What might you cook for them, and what questions might you ask of them? And she said, I would invite Rip Red to dinner because I think he would tell the most interesting stories. We would have to serve shrimp and cream sauce because that is his favorite dish of all. Just to irritate him, I would tell him he had to use a napkin in order to get dessert. He would use the napkin because dessert would be a fabulous chocolate cake and he loves food. But I bet he would glare at me the whole time. I would ask all kinds of questions about being a rat and living alone in the dead land and about his family. Rip Red sometimes sneaks up to the Overland, so I would ask him opinion of New York City too. After dinner, we'd play Scrabble.
Oh my God, that is so cute.
So he's clearly her favorite.
I loved this rat. This rat had Iron Bull energy. If there's any dragon age heads out there. If there's any Dragon Age heads out there, I just pictured the Iron Bull, but a rat.
And he's the most badass of all of them. And yeah, Vicus has recruited him, and he's like, "Listen,
probably fucks. Let's be real.
He's
Vicus and
he's
this
like
rat
if Balthier Final Fantasy 12 was a little bit more bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this rat, like, instantly, like, one of them draws a sword, and he like uses his tail to disarm two of them with a sword, and then he's like, "Coming for me, loves." Like, he doesn't. He's awesome.
The way that Vicus and his wife talk to this rat is extremely like, we saw you from across the bar and we really dig your vibe.
You think they explored each other's bodies?
Yeah, all three of them. Yeah.
It's awesome because he says, the child's the only one without fear. And he was like, we're doing all right. And he goes, but you'll be screwing your courage to the sticking place any minute now. And I was like, wow, does he know that? And later he was like, yeah, I like read shit that falls down. Unfortunately, I can't write. It's the lack of thumbs.
Yeah, he rules. I kind of wish that he'd showed up a little earlier.
Yes.
But yeah, once he rolls up, I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And he's trying to unseat the king rat, so he's their rat on the inside.
Yeah.
This is what that one James Clavell book is about.
No doubt. I mean, Vicus refers to him as my gnawer. Like, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's gay.
I think only he's allowed to say that among the humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fucked that rat.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa fucked that rat.
I also like how, lest we sort of get suckered into this idea that there is this particular skill that these people have that makes them like inherently better. Like, I mean, Luxa's got like training or whatever, but like Rip Red says, look, like all the rats that you fought up to this point have been I have them right here. We've killed 5 rats since midday, said Luxa. You mean the idiots that I handpicked for cowardice and ineptitude? Oh, yes, bravo, your highness. That was a masterly piece of combat, said Rip Red, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Do not flatter yourself you have yet fought a rat. They themselves killed Fanger and Shed, said Marith bravely. Well, then I stand corrected. Fanger and Shed were excellent fighters on the rare occasions they were sober.
This is like rat hay, Mitch, for sure. This rat's gonna be like, okay, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is book 1 of 5. We have a long way to go in terms of prowess.
Okay, so they do more stuff. Go up. Some spiders eat it.
Mm-hmm.
2 spiders show up and say, the rats attacked us, we're joining your quest, and then one of them instantly dies because he's wounded. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that completes the 12. And that's one of the 4 that are destined to die. And then there's Gox the spider that I'm not going to lie. I read Gok the spider the first time I saw it. So I read that as Gok the spider the rest of the time. So Gok doesn't really get much of a personality, but she does.
I mean, shooting all that thread, like.
Yes, exactly. She's shooting straight thread. All she does is just every now and then it's like, and then they needed a bandage and Gok was there to help, or like then they needed like shoes and Gok was there to help, and that's kind of all she does.
Like,
she's gonna die as like a flex of the Rat King later on.
It's unfortunate, right? Because like I can, there's aspects of the prophecy that can go like really well, that can and do go really well and really poorly for our heroes, right? And I can totally see in a book that deals with racism, that deals with genocide, that deals with the costs of war and of setting aside your generational differences in your like racial enmity, right? Like I can see like somebody showing up briefly and technically fulfilling the prophecy and then being ripped away by the tides of battle or whatever, but we don't get enough time with these people.
Honestly, I feel like if I was editing this book, Suzanne, if I was your editor, I would say cut the spiders entirely, put them in book 2.
Yeah, they don't really serve the narrative very much here.
Yeah, have Rip Red show up. Have Rip Red show up earlier. Let everybody sort of make friends more, so Henry's betrayal actually feels a little worse. Which we'll get to. But then both Luxa and Henry are very against Rip Red coming with them because their parents were killed by rats. So they're very like, fuck this rat. We don't care if you fucked this. We don't care if you fucked this rat, Grandpa. We don't want to be friends with him.
It's interesting, like they've got a little more of like a legitimate bitch against the rats, of course, but like it's interesting the prejudices, the chauvinisms that we see at play here with the Underlander royalty, right? Because they're earlier in the book, they're just like, like it's they're just being casually racist about the roaches that are right.
Yeah,
I can't remember if like they're like right there or not, but like Henry says, very matter of factly, it's it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if they know I respect them or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Henry's kind of a dick.
I wrote in my notes, like, why do they talk about the rats? Like, my great-grandfather who fought at Iwo Jima talked about Japanese people. He's like, no, don't worry. I had a bad experience with them. And it's like, okay, but he didn't do it. Like, the guy in the grocery store didn't do it. Like, there's a
line that I really like, actually, right after the Rip Red bit that I read. Still, he was a rat. Gregor had only been in the Underland a few days, and he already despised rats. They'd killed Luxa's and Henry's parents, imprisoned his father, and almost eaten him and Boots. He felt a kind of power surging through him when he thought of how much he hated them. And that, to me, it's such a good way to describe prejudice against somebody from a group that has wronged you and, like, your group, because it's the only, in that moment, when you're marinating in that injustice, it's the only power that you perceive yourself having against them.
Yeah.
And I will note, in later books, the humans will concoct a virus to do a rat genocide and like mass murder rats in numbers. The rats never hurt the humans in ways that the humans could have never been hurt by the rats, like even in the rats' wildest dreams. And so like Suzanne knows what she's doing here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, she always does.
So maybe the full analogy would take the full series of books to hit, which I don't intend to read the full series of books, but I read the Wikipedia summaries. They seem interesting. Then we get Gandalf, "You shall not pass" with a cockroach. The bunch of rats are chasing them over a bridge, and the roach like gets fucked up to protect Boots, which is very nice. Boots is asleep for the whole ordeal, which is also nice because she would be very upset. She's always being so sweet. Yes, she's always being so sweet to the roaches. Yep. She's always singing them little songs. One thing that she does is she sings like "Row, row, row your boat," but she says like she just puts their names in it, and like they're like touched by it, and they're like, "Princess honors me." And then at one point she's like,
"Yeah,
I'm sleepy. I don't want to talk." And they're like, "Princess hates us." And he's like, no. They're very sensitive.
Right. She has a tantrum. Yeah. She has a tantrum and they're like, "Oh, she hates us." And Gregor's like, "No, she just does that."
Yeah. She's just 2. And now she's sick and a roach is dead.
I really like Yeah, I really like the way that Gregor talks about Boots like she's a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like instead of just being he because he's young too. So he is not like, oh, this is just what babies are like. He's like, well, Boots is just like that. That classic
Mhm.
Boots.
Mm-hmm.
She screams and then she's fine. She's
Mhm.
just that's just what she's like. And it's like, yeah, well, all babies are like that. But like he doesn't know all babies. He just knows Boots. So I liked
Mhm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's her style. That's her signature move. Is screaming and then being
Yeah,
happy because she gets a
screaming.
cookie.
That
Yeah.
literally is her signature move. They're like, that's how they escape from the spiders, is because they've never heard like a child scream before.
Well,
Yeah.
we do a few little adventures every now and then. They need Gok's help to clean something up with rope, and yeah, Spider does a Gandalf and yada yada yada. In my opinion, unless y'all have something important, I would like to talk about Finding Dead
really.
because I don't really care about. There's some fun little a cavern stuff. Yeah, we find his dad, and his dad's real fucked up in a pit. He looks like Gollum or some shit. And he's wearing rat
Yeah,
fur.
he's got like a rat fur. Yeah. I think it's interesting the rats gave him their own like pelts. I assume.
Yeah, I don't think the rats are very sentimental about like their bodies and stuff like that. I think once a rat's dead, same with the
Yeah.
spiders. They're kind of like,
There's a lot of
it's not
there's a
there.
lot of
I-
non-sentimentality here. Like there's who is it that oh yeah, the one spider immediately eats the other. when
Yeah,
it
I do
dies.
like that Gregor says to Rip Rad, just to rat's love.
And Rip,
That
and Rip
really
Red goes,
got me.
"Yeah," and then Rip Red goes, yes, ourselves. He's so cool for that.
Yeah, jackass
so-
questions
he's so
get
awesome.
jackass answers, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they find the dad, and to read what happens, the man who had disappeared from Gregor's life 2 years, 7 months, and who knew how many days ago had been the picture of health. Strong, tall, vibrant, energy had seemed to pour right out of him. The man squinting up on them from the pit was so thin and weak, his attempt to stand failed. He fell on all fours, then lifted one hand to help tilt his own head back. And he has this moment where he's like, I've like been looking for my dad to like fix things for me. And like, I feel like my dad is another child that I need to take care of now, which is a moment that like hits
Mhm.
super hard
Yeah.
and is tough, like for a kid that hasn't seen his dad in several years, or to see a parent in any kind of degenerated state and to have to take care of them is a tough moment. And while his dad will bounce back from this, it's not clear that he will in that moment. And his dad has, I think, been like, the rats have been like making him build weapons and some shit.
Right, because he's a science teacher.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, I have some vague knowledge of like how to build like a crossbow, a catapult, like some medieval weapon that they don't use, and he makes it so that like that as soon as like a rat touches it, it falls apart, right? And it's not really clear like how long this is gonna work, you know, because it's been a couple years at this point. That's actually, Jacob, you reminded me of Gregor like having to be the one to take care of his dad for a change, right? That reminds me of something else that ties into Gregor's whole like caretaker thing, right? He's not only caretaker, but he's also a mediator. And there's a part where we kind of skipped over where Henry is trying to kill Rip Red in his sleep because he's a rat and Henry is a racist. And Gregor throws himself between Henry and Rip Red, and he's like, look, like, you know, I don't care what you think of him, right? He's here for the prophecy. Like if you kill, you know, however you interpret it, like, however you interpret it, like, you know, we're stronger together. And he puts himself like in real danger, right? Because, you know, he's in the path of a sword. And that's the thing. Like that's what you see in Gregor's relationship to people. When he's taking care of Boots, when he's taking care of his father, when he's protecting Rip Red, and when he's making what he thinks is a sacrifice, right? It's not because he's the chosen one. It's not because like it's transactional and he expects something in return. It's just what he, you know, believes he ought to do for other people,
Well,
just like as a human.
Someone who is transactional and believes in things in return is fucking Henry. Because this bitch Henry, who's been nothing but a little shit the whole time, is like, guess what? I'm a traitor. And a bunch of rats show up, including the Rat King. And he says, sorry, cousin, but I had no choice. We were headed for disaster under Vicus. He would ally us to the weakest, when our only real chance of survival is to ally ourselves with those who are the most powerful. We will join forces with the rats and rule together. You and I. So I assume he wants to fuck his cousin. Not sure what's going on there. But yeah, he's
classic
betrayed
thing
them.
for Henry to do.
Mhm,
That's such
mhm.
a Henry. That's such a fucking Henry move.
Yeah, and I do think as well, like at a very early age, and especially in our current moment, it's really worth dwelling on, and it's worth a heavy conversation with a kid who's old enough about when you're in a moment of struggle, you can ally yourself with the strongest and perhaps live a little longer, or you can go among the weak, the marginalized. Maybe you don't have to like people, but you can stand with them and find some strength in your collectivity, right? What is it that Rip Red says? Like, mutual need is a strong bond, stronger than friendship, stronger than love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that really stands out to me, as we face down the growing fascism here in the Imperial Core.
Agree.
And of course, Gregor's facing down the growing number of rats surrounding him. Is that anything? And they chase him off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, he's like, oh, the prophecy says I'm gonna jump off a cliff. I'm gonna do that. So he jumps off the cliff.
Fucking kill myself.
Yeah, he literally is like, I'm gonna kill myself. So he goes to do it, and Henry jumps after him and they've made a big deal throughout the book that Underlanders are not afraid of falling because their bats will catch them. But Henry's bat, Ares, because they're all named after Greek gods for some reason, catches Gregor instead because he is not a traitor like Henry.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, friendship ended with Henry. Now Gregor is my best friend.
I couldn't help but think of the what are they called, Lenore? The Roush?
Roush? What are you talking about?
The Roosh from Black.
Oh, the bat things. It did start with an R. You're right, but yeah, like that's where my head was at sort of at first with the speech of the Underlanders, right? That's sort of weird, like not English, but I got over it quickly once I figured out that they were,
the Roosh, much like the Roosh. Ares is a friend to humans and is a friend to well-behaving humans, and much like the Roosh, they leave behind the traitor humans and side with the good humans. In this case, it is Gregor. They save him, and then the rats and Henry fucking splat. I mean, there is no salvation for Henry. He breaks into a million pieces, and it specifically says it was not a pretty sight.
And I do like now that you bring it up, right? Because I thought at first that like it's a little bit too clean that a bond is something you can just break. But on the other hand, right, you see this expectation on the part of like Henry, on the part of like the Underlander royalty, that I bond with the bat and then like it'll save me, right? And there's not really an equivalent sacrifice that the humans can make, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Like it's a moment where their chauvinism is tested and fails.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of that Jordan Peterson Jubilee video where somebody was like, but you would lie to save like a Jew hiding from the Holocaust, right? And he goes,
don't be so sure. How much do you know about me? I didn't lie to save my career. I didn't lie to save my clinical practice.
And that's Ares. Henry's like, you wouldn't let me die in favor of Gregor. And he says, don't be so sure.
Would you lie to like save your children, your mom, your dad?
I don't think lying would save them.
Can there ever be a circumstance logically that lying could save someone?
Yeah, and if you're steeped in sin, you're likely to live in circumstances like that.
I'll give you an example. If you're like in like Nazi Germany, and it is the case that there's like Jewish people in your attic and you're trying to protect them,
example.
Would you lie to like the Nazis?
I would have done everything I bloody well could, so I wouldn't be in that situation to begin with. It's a hypothetical, and it's not answerable.
Hypotheticals?
Is this anything? Once again, I'm returning to my analogy. If Ryan pulls the audio, this will work a lot better.
Anyway, so they win, and Rip Red is like, I'm gonna go lead a rat revolution. They bring his dad back. Yeah, Ratolution. They bring his dad back. Like, there's no really like big thing that happens in the end. Like, we find out that there may be another prophecy, like as
There
like a
is.
sequel hook.
Mhm.
The
And
Bane
they go back up.
prophecy.
They go back up to his mom. I liked that. That was sweet. When he's
Well,
like
there's a
very
brief
concerned
moment where they're
about-
gonna exile Ares, and they get
Oh
that
yeah,
they do a
and
shotgun
right. Okay,
wedding.
yeah. I forgot. How could I forget about the
That
bat
is,
wedding?
yeah. I put it to y'all in the chat like not long ago that that is, I think, the real emotional climax of the novel. Like, yeah, there's the fight with the rat army that like Henry brings up, the Rat King, goes over the cliff and whatever, and that's neat and all. But like, there is that's like the second half of like Gregor's test here is okay. Like, I have it completes the incomplete loop that was the Henry Ares bond, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
like having been saved by this bat, now I stake my reputation, my well-being on this thing that by the laws of the Underland is forfeit, is outlaw, right?
Yeah, because that
So they're going to
because
outlaw
Ares
the
didn't lie
bat.
to save his career.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ares did not lie to save his career. So in response, Gregor is like, you can't exile him because he's my bat now. So
Right.
they say the bat vows to each other, and now they're bat married.
Right. See,
Yeah.
he's Gregor's not somebody who just wins the war, right? You also have to win the peace, right? You have to, if you want to remain relevant, you have to be somebody who's willing to clean up what you might have had to mess up.
Right. And I also think it's really interesting that Vicus offers Gregor a sword. And he says, no, I don't want to be a warrior, because he's seen war and it sucks and it's terrifying. And he says, I want to be like you. He wants to be a peacemaker, which I think is really cool for like the young male protagonist of an adventure story to be like, I don't want to be a warrior, actually.
And
Yes.
Vicus says, like, look, I've fought many battles, like one assumes that he's he's been where Gregor has.
And I will say, spoiler alert, but the last book will end with, there is a moment where Gregor has to take up the sword, and the last book ends with him literally shattering the sword and being like, we are not fighting anymore. Like, you are going to have to kill me because we are not fighting anymore. Is like,
This is the
kind
weapon
of
of
the
the enemy.
conclusion
We
of the
do not
series.
need it. We will not use it.
Yes. And also his dad, this other masculine figure, is not this fighter. His dad is a guy who survived by his wits. And the second time he's seen his son back alive, like the first time he's like catatonic. The second time he's seen his son, he's like, hey son. And he's like, yeah, we fell down. He goes, oh, let me explain to you for 20 minutes how the wind tunnels work. I'm like, I love this dad. And he was like, I
Dads
didn't
love
know what
to
my dad
explain
was.
things.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't know what my dad was saying, but it sure was nice to hear him talk. It's just dad immediately info dumping on his child about wind tunnels. So sick. Yeah, they go home, and then he's like, I guess I'm gonna freak out my mom, but whatever. And he walks in and says, what's up, mom? And that's the end of the book.
Yeah. It was a sweet little book. I liked it.
I hope that mom doesn't get kidnapped in a later book and infected with a poison that's supposed to just kill rats. I hope that doesn't
Oh my
happen
God.
in the third volume of the series.
Yeah, like for
Spoilers.
I mean, we're not gonna fucking read the rest of it. Unless, of course, listeners, you subscribe to the Patreon and
Right.
force us to via the
If
poll.
you want more cunty rat,
Yes.
subscribe to the Patreon.
Don't we all?
Yeah, or
Don't we
Prince
all?
Caspian, because that has another cunty rat in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that's what it's obviously been a long time since I read middle grade fiction. Again, it had to be explained to me what exactly middle grade fiction versus young adult fiction was, right? But for a book where the prose is in service of the dialogue and moving the plot forward a lot of the time, very sort of light on descriptions, on like lingering on themes, like it's the character dynamics do not suffer at all for it. They are very, very well sketched out and alluded to. There is, at the end of the book, there's like guidelines for creating your own Underland, right? It straight up encourages you to, do this like, imagination like exercise and whatnot. It gets you thinking about a lot of stuff that I'm surprised how easy it is to sit somebody down and explain to them, even when they're, very small, right? Suzanne Collins has such respect for her audience, and so I was that really stood out. For a book that feels like a dry run of the Hunger Games, right? It really stood out to me.
Yeah, I agree. I was impressed. I mean, if you have a kid that you're looking to buy a book for, I recommend this one, especially a young boy. I think would really get a lot out of this book.
Definitely.
I like that Gregor is both a peacemaker and a caretaker. I think that's great. But he'll defend people if he needs to.
Right, in both Hunger Games and this book, and presumably its sequels, which are also well reviewed, are great books from Suzanne Collins for young boys, and this one for middle grade, and then also for teenage boys. Is like, between the reasons we stated why it is good for them to read about Katniss, this girl that can step up but is also still like a girl, and in this case this boy that is willing to be tender and does not love war, and of course to read about Boots and like her cool stuff that she does.
We love Boots.
The fact that like she goes on to like assist Dora the Explorer in missions is like super cool, because Boots the monkey from Dora.
How many Boots did you get in there, Jacob?
That was the last one. I had 5, I think. There was a couple more that I thought of, but they were a little too obscure. Nothing famous like Bootsy Collins, of course, or Jaron the Boots Ennis. I considered a Boots Mallory, but nobody knows who Boots Mallory is. So yeah, whatever. Could have done Boots Boots Randolph, the dude who did Yakety Sax. Oh yeah. I love the parts where Boots did Yakety Sax. Okay, 6.
Well, yeah, that was fun. I liked a low, easy book to read while I'm moving furniture. What are we doing next week?
Next week, we will be covering from Neon Hemlock Press, friend of the show, Cecilia Tan's Mystery of the Bitten Peach, which will be our newest book we've ever covered, because that is a fairly recent novel. So our novella. So pretty exciting stuff there. Really looking forward to it. And if you like to read alongside us, it's not very long. It's from a press that you should support. And I've not read it yet, but word is it's fucking good. So
I think it's about lesbians.
Yes,
if you like lesbians, check it out.
I mean, do you like biting peaches or not?
Yeah,
presumably you do.
We know peaches from Call Me by Your Name. We know peaches are gay.
Yeah, and also Georgia, the peach state. That is the state that we have the most listeners in the United States. Aisha, I was telling Lenore, our newer stats has us at 74% of our listeners are American. Then about 11% are British. I think a good 8% are Canadian, and then the rest are kind of a spread from various countries. So yeah, but Georgia,
we got the imperial core cornered.
Yeah, more people outside
the imperial
of the
pit of the
please.
peach. Imperial pit of the peach. Hey, look, that one guy from Hong Kong wrote us to said, "Hey, you should cover the 3-body problem in the original Mandarin." Fuck that guy. I love that's still one of my favorite jokes that we've ever had been sent in, but I was like, come on, man.
I like him.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy. Covering the original Mandarin. You're just dunking on me. I know you speak and read English and I don't. I get it. I don't do your
do you not speak and read English?
I don't. God damn it. Yeah, clearly not. I don't it doesn't go both ways is what I mean. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Clearly, right. Yeah, I can barely anything. Well, everybody, keep an eye out for Vince in your fucking laundry room, I guess.
Yeah. You never know when a cunty rat might come through and start reading all your Shakespeare.
Pages upon pages, words of wisdom from other workers' brow. Got my nose to the spine, not soaking up.